So I just have to address the elephant in the room. What the fuck are you guys wearing?
So we did an experiment today. It's called the
Goodwill Challenge.
Goodwill Challenge. You go to Goodwill with a friend, and they go down the aisle in their respective sections with their eyes closed, and they run their hands through the clothes, and the friend yells, "Stop!" And whatever they land their hand on, that's what you buy.
So, Chelsea, was this at your request? Did you discover this challenge?
I saw it on TikTok, and he had some TikToks, and I was like, I think we should do this.
But this is not a TikTok podcast. Welcome to Season 8, Episode 22 of Cinema Chop Shop. This is a movie podcast that concedes that the remakes are going to happen. So why shouldn't movie buffs,
Like us,
decide who is recast in those iconic roles? My name is...
Travlov's dog, aka Travis Breakdown, aka Attention Travisit Disorder.
I love all of them, but Travlov's dogs, it had me drooling. And I'm joined, as always, here in the shop by my co-host and co-producer, Psychological Evaluation, aka Shawnee and June, aka Gone Baby Shawn. And in our third seat, Chop Shop Regulator, Mozart and the Chel, aka The Perks of Being a Chel Flower,
nice.
aka Chelver Linings Playbook, aka Chel Interrupted.
Yes.
Also, welcoming back to the show, it's been a while. It's been a while. One flew over the Marco's nest, aka Marco, my son, what have you done? aka, what about Mark? It's your boy Mark.
Hello, everybody.
Further description of the
hi,
show. Do that again.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Further description of the show, the tagline says, watch, chop, retrofit, because essentially that's what we do here. We watch older movies, sometimes classic films with iconic actors, and then we retrofit them by tweaking the design with new parts. Quick disclaimer, we're not actually in favor of the remake, reboot, sequel-dependent cinematic culture.
Lobotomy? Probably.
This is more of an exercise in satire and irony. We try to be funny, and sometimes we succeed. Try it again.
Ooh.
We try to be funny,
And sometimes we succeed.
bringing us to the theme of the episode, because we're all mad here. Psychiatry/therapy movies. Now, Sean, you picked this subject. What was the catalyst behind your decision?
I don't know. I don't know the inner workings of the mind.
Was there a subconscious choice that went on?
Probably. Maybe even psychosexual.
And Chelsea,
Mm-hmm.
start from the beginning.
Oh, Jesus. This podcast is not long enough.
And Marco, as a psych major and movie buff, how do you feel about the genre?
The genre of psychology movies.
Therapy, psychiatrist movies,
Well,
psych movies.
I think any movie could be a psychology movie if you apply it hard enough.
Oh, so we're getting deep.
Oh yeah.
Deep into that psyche.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'll volunteer the information that I have sought out and received therapy for a multitude of issues.
I'm not surprised.
Anybody else? This is a safe space.
I've been in therapy before.
All right, bringing us to our next segment, which is the Midnight Double Feature. And this is where we go around the panel and we each talk about two films that are related to our subject of the week and somewhat related to each other. And we talk about how they're related and how they would make a good double feature. And so, Marco, as our guest, would you please go first with your double feature, sir?
Certainly. So both my movies are about compulsion. One, he lives life one lap at a time. Another is about a bus that will explode if you drive too slow. A man obsessed with speed. So much so it's the title of the movie. Speed. Speed's the first one. Another has a need.
Pop quiz, hot shot.
Another has a need for speed, and that's why I'm choosing Days of Thunder. So Speed and Days of Thunder. It's about
I feel
obsession,
the need for speed.
which is from Top Gun, not Days of Thunder, I think.
But Days of Thunder stars Tom Cruise, who was in Top Gun,
It's true.
and it's kind of a precursor to Talladega Nights.
Kinda. Sort of a prequel.
Yeah, it's a prequel
Mhm.
to Talladega Nights. Chelsea, can you give us a double feature?
Yeah, this is dedicated to the woman that has made me crazy, my mother.
Mmm.
I am going with 1987 Nuts, and 1991 Prince of Tides.
Oh, I thought you were going to pair it with Bolt.
Nuts and Bolt, that'd be pretty
Nuts
funny.
and Bolt. Okay, tell me about Nuts.
So they both star Barbara Streisand, and honestly, that's all I know. And my mom loves them, and she's crazy, has made me crazy.
And these movies are crazy.
I bet so. My guess.
Crazy.
I didn't like Prince of Tides. I saw it in college and I was not amused.
You were not amused by that heavily dramatic, traumatic film?
It's because the soundtrack has a ton of Celine Dion on it, and Shawn is not here for it.
Well, it's not even that. It's just they were trying to make me feel something, and I just wasn't feeling it. This is dumb. I didn't like it.
Shout out to Pat Conroy, South Carolina author. So over to you, Shawn. What's your double feature for today?
I went with music as kind of my tangential tether between the two. I went with 1989's Los Angeles, starring Donald Sutherland and Adam Adrock Horovitz.
From the Beastie Boys.
Yeah, and Amy Locane. You might remember her from Crybaby.
Yes, also her name rhymes with cocaine.
Exactly. The troubled youth is, he comes from a split home, and he is sent to a private psychiatric hospital after a violent scrape with the police. In the hospital, he makes a connection with one of the doctors who has his own problems. This movie sucks.
Okay.
Like, I watched it because I saw, hey, cool, Ad Rock's in it, that might be kind of neat. And after you get past the novelty of seeing one of the Beastie Boys early, I mean, 89, I mean,
Yeah.
License to Ill was
They were
like,
just cutting their teeth.
License to Ill was like 87, if I'm not mistaken, 86, 87.
Dana.
So, yeah, I was kind of like, that's cool, but then it was kind of shitty, and Donald Sutherland, like, was just taking a paycheck. It was didn't make any sense at all. And I'm pairing that with 2007's Control, the biopic of Ian Curtis and Joy Division.
Ah, okay.
This is based on the book by Ian Curtis's widow, Deborah Curtis, and directed by Anton Corbijn, who incidentally directed Joy Division's very first music video.
And forgive my ignorance, Joy Division would be classified as like new wave?
I would say post-punk.
Post-punk, okay. And you're a fan?
Oh, huge fan of theirs. And I actually rewatched this today, and it still holds up. It's a good flick. And anyway, the reason that is a psychological movie is Ian Curtis, of course, suffered from depression as well as epilepsy, which of course is not a mental disorder, it's a
More
medical
physical.
condition. However, he was
Physiological.
He was prescribed a shit ton of prescriptions from a psychiatrist that probably did not do him a whole lot of good, because he was like, well, you want to try all of these and see which ones work, and we'll. And
Yeah, but
Process of elimination.
at the same time, like, there was not that much known about epilepsy and these medications, so I don't think the person had ill intent.
Also in the film, Bernard Sumner, who is the current lead singer of New Order, he was the guitarist then in Joy Division, tried to hypnotize Ian Curtis. And the movie and the book leave it kind of open-ended if this was a good thing or a damaging thing. And amateur hypnosis is probably not a good idea.
It's never a good idea.
So anyway, those are my two.
Speaking of bad ideas, I've got a pairing for you guys. First, we've got The Crush from 1993. It was directed by Alan Shapiro, who also directed Tiger Town, The Christmas Star, and Flipper, the one from the 90s with Paul Hogan.
Oh no.
We got a 25% on Rotten Tomatoes. Writer Nick Elliott, played by Carrie Elwes. Yes, that Carrie Elwes. Wesley from The Princess Bride.
As you wish.
L. Wesley moves to a new city for a magazine job and rents a room in the house of Cliff, played by Kurtwood Smith, and Liv Forrester, played by Gwyneth Walsh, whose 14-year-old daughter, Adrian, played by Alicia Silverstone, instantly makes her attraction clear to Nick. While Nick romances photographer Amy Maddock, played by Jennifer Rubin, at work, he has trouble fending off Adrian's advances. As her obsessions with Nick grows, Adrian becomes angry at being rejected and starts attacking his property and friends. Has anybody seen this movie?
I saw it a long time ago.
Many, many years ago.
I don't
Chelsea?
know.
You haven't seen this?
No.
The Crush? I think you would like it. Marco?
I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
All right, next one we've got Mad Love from 1995. It was directed by Antonia Bird. Antonia Bird. She also directed Face, Ravenous, and Son of Babylon. This one's got just a little bit higher score, 28% on Rotten Tomatoes. Matt, played by Chris O'Donnell, falls for Casey, played by Drew Barrymore, the new girl in school. She's fun-loving and eccentric, but there's a darkness to her whimsy that Matt can't begin to comprehend. When Casey attempts to commit suicide, her parents, played by Joan Allen and Jude Cicciolela,
I love that.
Cicciolela, place her in a mental institution. Matt springs her out, and together the young lovers head out on a road trip. They believe that their love can truly cure Casey's problems. Matt starts to wonder, though, if they are inspired or misguided. So my tie that binds here,
Batman and Robin.
my connective tissue.
Batman and Robin.
Yeah, it's totally a Batman theme. We went with Chris O'Donnell as Robin and Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl.
I'm so excited that I got that.
Yeah, that wasn't it. I was just picking two movies from back in the 90s, but you nailed it, dude. All right, any final thoughts on our double features?
Yeah, why didn't Alicia Silverstone have bat nipples?
Because Joel Schumacher's gay.
Okay. Fair enough.
I'm gonna say recommend on Mad Love, mild, check it out on The Crush.
Recommend on Control. Do not recommend Lost Angels.
I'll get back to you.
Watch both Days of Thunder and Speed. They're great movies.
And that's our time. Oh wait, it's time for our feature segment, which is the recast. And for the first film, it's going to be an oldie but a goodie, The Seventh Veil from 1945, directed by Compton Bennett. We've got no rating on Rotten Tomatoes because it didn't exist back then.
It won an Oscar, didn't it?
It's one of the most successful British films of all time.
Mm-hmm.
After attempting suicide, Francesca Cunningham, played by Ann Todd, hires Dr. Larson, played by Herbert Loam, who, using hypnotism, delves into her subconscious and searches for answers. Francesca recounts several failed romances to Dr. Larson, shown in flashbacks, many of which were sabotaged by her cousin and musical tutor, Nicholas, played by James Mason, a jealous taskmaster who cares for Francesca deeply. As the subsequent veils are lifted from her childhood clouded mind, Francesca is forced to confront her feelings for Nicholas.
Listen, they're third cousins at best.
So it's cool in the South.
Well, here, it's not cool anywhere, but she's like, I think it's my dad's second cousin.
Mm-hmm.
We're related, sort of,
Yeah.
and I think that's how, but it's not like they're actual, uncle and niece or cousins. It's not like that close.
Gotcha. And Sean, give me your thoughts.
I liked it. I thought it was interesting how your synopsis said that Mason was kind of sabotaging the relationships. I think she was self-sabotaging her relationships because she was performing literally and figuratively for Mason's character the entire film. Even when she was playing piano, yes, but even in her life, she was trying to make him impressed and make an impression on him. So, yeah, I liked it. Marco, you said you did not like the ending.
Yeah, I feel like this is kind of an example of incel core.
Oh, shit.
Yes, because whenever she was being engaged the first time earlier in the movie, he said, well, we're going to Paris, and that was the last you ever saw of, fiancé number one.
Right.
So he's obviously kind of guilty here, if you ask me. I think he was being pretty manipulative.
To be fair.
I think she was too. It kind of reminds me of Talladega Nights when
Oh.
he thinks he's on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, totally.
It's
See the
exactly the
connection.
same movie, now that you really break it down.
I know, right?
It's shake and bake, and I helped.
Yeah.
All right, so the roles that we're going to recast, we've got Francesca.
You
We've
okay?
got
You need a lozenge?
Can we get you a lozenge?
Need a water?
YouTube's loving this.
Mm-hmm.
Shawn editing is loving this.
Yeah.
All right, we got Francesca, played by Ann Todd, who was 38 at the time. We've got Dr. Larson, played by Herbert Loam, who was 28. And then we've got Nicholas, played by James Mason, who was 36. Is that
That's correct.
jive with everyone?
Yeah, which was surprising.
Why?
Because he was clearly a father figure,
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
much older.
much older than her, and she was playing the role much younger.
They're like 16 or 17 at the start, I think.
Yeah.
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 And she was 2
Good for
years
her.
older than James
Good
Mason.
for her.
All right, so over to you, Mark. Who's going to be your Francesca?
So I chose someone that's a musician. That way it'll seem more authentic because music's a big
Mhm.
component of this movie. Plus, she's given interviews where she discusses how showbiz has destroyed her will to live. And that's a quote from some stuff. I chose Dannii Minogue.
Oh, Kylie Minogue's little sister.
That's the one.
Okay.
Nice.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Chelsea.
I have a little bit of a theme. My actress was in Bridesmaids, 21 Jump Street, Lego Batman movie. I went with Ellie Kemper.
Yes.
Wait, didn't you just pick her like?
A couple weeks
2
ago.
weeks
Yeah.
ago. It's great. She's
Listen,
coming back
sorry.
around.
If it fits, it fits. No.
Yeah.
No judgment. No judgment.
Yeah, clearly.
No,
The
seriously.
Kimmy Schmidt.
Unbreakable, Kimmy
The
Schmidt.
unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. She can come back any week she wants.
So I went with a 30-year-old actress. She is the daughter of 2 professional dancers, and
Okay.
she studied dance, ballet as well. So performing, like Marco said, is kind of critical in this role. So take that for what it's worth. She was in Tenet. She was in Widows, Guardians of the Galaxy, and The Great Gatsby. I went with Elizabeth Debicki.
Okay. All right. Yeah, she's got a little bit of a Emma Thompson thing going on.
Maybe a little, yeah. Yeah, I can see that, especially in her Guardians of the Galaxy role. She was one of the golden people.
Especially in that tiny black and white printed photo. So my pick for the role of Francesca Cunningham, I dialed down the age a bit. She's 27 now. She was in The Discoverers, Refuge, and Californication. Her name is Madeline Martin. She was the daughter
Yeah.
on Californication. She's
Nice.
my pick for that role. Moving it along, we've got the role of Dr. Larson, played by Herbert Loam, who was 28. And Marco, who do you have for this?
My choice is someone that's played a bad guy before, from Machete to Machete Kills to the forthcoming Machete Kills in Space.
Yes, yes.
Plus, there's something a little sinister about Danny Trejo.
Yeah. Oh, there's a newish documentary about him called Inmate Number 1. I
Okay.
believe is the name of it. I haven't seen it yet, but I want to.
Was he in jail?
Yeah, dude, yes. Yeah, Danny Trejo was in prison.
Mm.
Over to you, Chelsea.
My actor was in a movie from 2009 called Labor Pains, one from 2011 called Terry. You'd know him from The Office. I went with Creed Bratton.
Creed Bratton, who played the role of Creed
Creed.
Bratton on
The Office.
He's great. I'm smelling a little bit of something around the water cooler, but I'm not going to reveal anything. Sean, over to you.
I aged up this doctor considerably. He's 66 years old. And it's a bit of a face value pick. He was in A Simple Plan, The Man Who Wasn't There, Monsters Ball, and Sling Blade. I went with Billy Bob Thornton.
Billy Bob. So as part of his rider, he has to have a vial of whoever he's dating's blood on set whenever he gets there.
That's true.
That's well known and well publicized, yes.
My pick for Dr. Larson is 27 now. He was in Click, speaking of Adam Sandler. He was in Amityville, The Awakening, Gotham, and Shameless. His name is Cameron Monaghan. Cameron Monaghan is my Dr. Larson.
I shopped him for something this week. Maybe not that part.
Next, we've got Nicholas, played by James Mason, who was 36. And Mark, who did you go with?
I chose someone that's played a guy with a cane before. I think the Royal Tenenbaums. I'm pretty sure. Don't fact check that, please. At least that's how I remember his character.
Wait, is he making a comeback?
Oh yeah, and he's proven he has a singular focus and dedication in the Lethal Weapon series. I chose Danny Glover.
Danny Glover.
Nice.
Yes, son of Donald Glover.
Exactly. Well, actually,
That's a
No,
battle of
his
his
father.
Straight up, they're not related, but when I saw Childish Gambino perform, he came out and he straight up said, "To answer all of you, yes, it's true. I am Danny Glover's father." That might have been on Saturday Night Live. Chelsea.
My actor was in the Despicable Me movies, Beautiful Boy, Vice, and The Office. I went with Steve Carell.
Ah, Michael
So-
Scott.
I did. Now, here's the thing. We all know she has daddy issues. Ellie Kemper's character in The Office has daddy issues, and Michael graciously steps in and takes care of that for her.
Much like Danny Trejo, Michael Scott has also been in prison, hence Prison Mike.
Yes.
Over to you, Sean.
I went with a 47-year-old actor, so now 30 years old and 47 years old. He was in the TV series Teachers, the series Afterlife, Love Actually, and The Walking Dead. I went with Andrew Lincoln.
Okay. All right.
He's not doing anything right now.
There is actually a standalone on FX that just stars him. It's a spin-off. It might be a movie.
It is Untitled. It is the Walking Dead movie.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, my pick for Nicholas is 35 now. I went a year younger. He was in Neighbors, Now You See Me, and Nerve, and probably some other movies that don't start with the letter N. His name is Dave Franco.
Nice.
Dave Franco
I like it.
is my Nicholas. So, final thoughts on the film, The Seventh Veil.
I enjoyed it.
So did I. I really liked it.
I watched, uncharacteristically, I watched this movie early, before I even picked the roles. Now, there's only 3 people in the movie, but I kind of enjoyed it too. It's a little bit slow to
Yeah.
start with, but I think it works itself out.
I guess it's of its time.
I think it works out all of those issues.
I don't think it earned its ending at all. Personally, they roll credits and she embraces him to do spoilers, and it's just no. Like, how are you going to
Spoilers from 1945.
Yeah.
It would have it would have benefited from a close-up shot of like Ed Rooney from Ferris Bueller going, "So that's how it is in their family."
All right, with that, we're going to head into intermission, but not before we say, let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby and get ourselves some much-needed counseling.
Brain candy.
And brain candy. Oh, some placebos would be good.
Right?
When we come back from intermission, Sean, what do we like to do?
Beer check-ins.
And
what
spit
do
in
we
our
have-
friends' faces.
And what do we have for us?
This is from Fonta Flora and wherever it is in North Carolina, Nebo/Morganton. And it's called Tiny Bubbles. It's a Saison ale with chamomile flowers and hops. So naturally, chamomile is a calming, natural flower type thing. So soothing the mouth.
Bubble.
I'll have you know this is my beer. You're welcome.
Thank you.
See, Chelsea shares her alcohol.
Yeah, right?
That's very nice of you.
So I'm going to pour these up. Marco, if you want to hand your glass
Oh,
later.
Thanks.
Chelsea, I assume you would like a...
Yeah, I would really like some of that.
You want some of your beer?
Yeah. Oh my god. You're so mean.
There you go, Travis. And hand that back to Marco.
Is this one Marco's?
That was Marco's.
Gracias.
Donata.
Oh, I'm into it.
It's good.
I get a little bit of this is gonna sound weird, but I get a little bit of oatmeal.
There's tea.
Okay.
I think it's brewed with like Earl Grey tea or
It
something.
used to be, but I don't see it on the label anymore. But it used to have like a tea base.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it's delicious, and thank you very much for sharing that, Chelsea.
Anytime. It's good.
All right, while we enjoy that, let's get into the 2021 movie marathon. As of this recording date, it is the 99th day of the year. And what number are you on, Chelsea?
182.
182 movies.
Mhm.
You have practically doubled up on the day.
Yep.
Sean?
123.
And I'm sitting over here with a measly 103 movies I've seen since January. What's going to be your first check-in, Chelsea?
So I think Sean and I are gonna tag team on this first one, yeah?
Okay.
Yeah.
A movie from 2020 called Honeydew.
Oh, I've seen this, and it's messed up.
Yeah,
So
I
give us a
really
premise.
listen. I really don't want to give anything away because
Okay.
I went into this 100% blind, and by the end of it, like I couldn't even sit on the couch. I was pacing the room.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god.
The level of suspense and intensity grows throughout the film.
I think you have to go into it blind.
Yeah, blind really helped. I didn't know what it was going to be about. It's a backwoods movie. I think that's
I
fair
would say
to
it
say.
qualifies, yes.
I don't want to give anything else away. There's another genre that it fits into. But it's weird, and as I said in my Twitter review, the music and the sound is quirky and weird, and it's appropriately so. Like, it just kind of throws things off kilter, much like the rest of the movie.
Right. Okay, my first check-in is going to be movie number 100 for me, Chaos Walking. Chaos Walking Phoenix. From 2021. It's a cool survival / sci-fi film with Thomas Hollande and Daisy Ridley. It was filmed a few years ago, and they had to shelve it because of the Great Quar. And has anybody else seen this?
I've seen a trailer. Mads Mikkelsen's in it, right?
He is. Two unlikely companions embark on a perilous adventure through the Badlands of an unexplored planet as they try to escape a dangerous and disorienting reality where all inner thoughts are seen and heard by everyone. So
Oh, yikes.
this,
But only if you're a man, right?
yes, only men, correct. So basically there was this ship that went to New World, let's call it. And as soon as they got there, they realized that all of the men, all of their thoughts could be heard by everyone around them. It's called The Noise. That's all I'm going to say about it. I recommend it.
Cool.
All right.
Next check-in, Chelsea.
This is a movie from 1980 called Ordinary People with Mary Tyler Moore, Donald Sutherland, and Timothy Hutton.
Classic film.
I had never seen it,
Mhm.
and just at Christmas time, my mom and I were talking about Mary Tyler Moore, and she's like, there's this movie where Mary Tyler Moore is mean, you gotta see it. This is the one. I don't think she's mean. I think she's severely misunderstood.
And I think the title begs the question, is there such a thing as an ordinary person?
Yeah, so basically it's about a family. Mary Tyler Moore, Donald Sutherland are a married couple. Timothy Hutton is their son. Their other son died in a really tragic way, and it has affected all of them. Timothy Hutton, he tries to commit suicide, and then comes home from the hospital, is in therapy, and they're just trying to move on from this.
Right.
And it's rough.
It should be noted it's directed by Robert Redford.
Yes, sorry. And Timothy Hutton won the Academy Award. This is his film debut.
And he won Best Supporting Actor or Best
Yes,
Actor?
supporting actor.
Best Supporting Actor in his film debut.
Yes.
Right on.
All downhill from there.
It was great though. I really liked it.
He's in a show that's set in Oregon, and I just want to thank him for that. Go ahead, Sean, with your next check-in.
I'm checking in from 1976, Lifeguard, starring a very young Sam Elliott. Swagger in training is what you would call this. He plays an aging lifeguard. Parker Stevenson is in this.
Old Pencil Neck?
One of the Hardy Boys.
Oh, that guy. I was thinking of Fisher Stevens.
No, not Fisher. And he's an old lifeguard, and it's time for him to move on. He gets tempted to take a job at a Porsche dealership. He rekindles an old flame at a class reunion. He apparently has sex with a 17-year-old.
Oh,
So he's not perfect.
He did not. His mustache did.
Yeah. I did check this in on Twitter, and it got a like from Sam Elliott's mustache.
Nice.
This is a great account, and I highly recommend checking it out.
All right. I didn't know that, and that worked out great. Next, my last check-in? No,
Yeah,
my
next
next
check-in.
my next check-in is going to be Haymaker, number 102 for me, and it's about an MMA fighter.
Someone is at the door.
Number 102 for me is Haymaker from 2021, an MMA fighter on a quest for more than one kind of redemption. Sounds cooler than it turns out to be.
Aww.
I've got a movie.
The main character's last name is Sasso, though. That helps.
nice.
Mark, you said you saw something?
I saw a movie. It's crazy. I saw Barb and Star go to Vista Del Mar.
Yes!
Fantastic movie.
You got some fans in the house. In the chop shop, there's some fans.
Kristen Wiig and Annie Mamulo.
She is hilarious.
Hilarious.
Yeah. It kind of feels like an Austin Powers throwback a little bit, and kind of screwball comedy.
Well, the villain is clearly a Dr. Evil
Mhm.
ripoff, but everything else about it, I just
really
enjoyed
liked it. Yeah, it was great. One of my favorite movies of the year so far.
We're Barb and Star. We know who you are. Unlike you, Edgar. You effing liar.
What do you got next, Chelsea?
Sorry. 2012, Compliance. Whoa. Fucked me up. I did not know this was a thing that had happened in real life, and the movie is crazy. It's basically, you have people that work at a fast food restaurant. Somebody calls in and says, hey, this is Officer so-and-so. One of your employees stole something from one of your customers. I need you to get her in the back room. I need you to look through her things. This officer has the manager on the phone, and the limits to where they push how far this goes just because they said I'm a police officer.
Yes.
Fucking crazy. And this is a true story. Everything in this movie fucking happened in real life.
Are there some big names in this?
No. Ann Dowd is probably the biggest.
It's pronounced Dodd.
Whatever.
She was the
And-
co-star in Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23.
Yes. And I'm gonna butcher her name. Dreama Walker.
Sounds good. Drema. Like her. She's great.
It was crazy.
Right on.
Crazy Town.
Crazy.
Okay. Before I do my last check-in, I've opened another beer.
Alright, let me kill this real quick.
This is from Jack's Addy Craft Lagers. This is called Shipping Out of Baston. It's an American lager, so it's like a nice amber lager.
We just had to kill it, like the trivia crowd in the beer garden.
Oh, yeah. It tastes remarkably like Seminar Brewing's Howler, by the way.
What does it taste like? Remarkably?
Remarkably.
Hey, you said it.
Anywho's, my last check-in of the week. It's from, what year is this from? 76, another 1976 movie.
The year my lovely wife Michelle was born.
Drink. It's the Pom Pom Girls.
Now, is it a double entendre?
Sure. Imagine an unamusing prequel to Dazed and Confused without the awesome soundtrack, but with gratuitous nudity. Extremely forgettable movie. However, bonus points for a heavily featured windowless van.
A windowless van. At a windowless van on Twitter.
But seriously, there are a lot of the same plot points of Dazed and Confused. The high school quarterback quits the team
Yeah.
after a moment of realization that he likes hanging out with his friends more. A lot of things.
And ironically, Dazed and Confused was set in the year 1976.
Yeah, I would be curious if Linkletter has seen this.
I would bet that he has. My last check-in is going to be a film that I just saw today. It's 103, and it's called Clinical, and it does fit with our theme of the episode. A psychiatrist tries to put her life back together after a violent attack by seeking to repair the life of a new patient, but he has his own terrifying history. And my review was, Psychiatrist, heal thyself. It's messed up. There's a switcheroo that happens. I don't recommend it, but it is on Netflix.
Okay.
All right. With that, we're going to go into the second part of our feature segment, The Recast Continued.
Regression.
No.
Second session.
Second opinion.
Relapse.
Regression. Relapse. You did it
Let's
all
try that
wrong.
again. Let's try that again. You say,
Second opinion, and then he says regression.
Fine.
That makes more
And then-
sense.
and then you say second session.
Okay.
All right? All right. It's time for the second part of our feature segment, The Recast Continued.
Second opinion.
Regression.
Second session.
And the film is going to be from 1996, Primal Fear, directed by Gregory Hoblit. He's got a it has a 76 on Rotten
I hear he
Tomatoes.
has a ring.
One ring to rule them all. And so before I describe the film, has everybody seen this?
Yeah, I
For the
saw,
first time.
I saw it for the first time this week.
And how did you feel about it?
I fucking loved it.
Okay.
I really liked it, and we're gonna have to give away some plot points in
Yeah,
discussing
there
this.
is spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert on this recast. Marco,
Yes.
you said that you watched it back in the day and you watched a recap today.
Mhm.
Any overwhelming thoughts?
It's crazy how Edward Norton was a non-entity entirely at the time.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of become pretty big.
Yet laying the groundwork for two of his other roles.
Yes. All right. So the description: defense attorney Martin Vale, the seventh Vale, takes on jobs for money and prestige rather than any sense of the greater good. His latest case involves an altar boy accused of brutally murdering the Archbishop of Chicago. Vale finds himself up against his ex-pupil and ex-lover, but the case progresses, or regresses, and the church's dark secrets are revealed. Vale finds that what appeared to be a simple case takes on a darker, more dangerous aspect. Sean, do you want to flesh it out a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, Laura Linney plays his opposing counsel, which they had a history together. Frances McDormand plays the psychologist that Gere brings into the case to kind of analyze Edward Norton's character, Aaron.
Yes.
And something comes to the surface.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess it's spoiler time, right?
Yeah, Aaron is not who he seems to be.
Right, so the persona of Roy is what he's presenting.
He presents Aaron, but Roy is really who he is. Roy is
Right.
a conniving, manipulative motherfucker capable of murder.
But he's presenting himself as Aaron, and Roy is a alternate personality.
Alter ego.
But Roy's the dominant persona.
So you watch the film thinking that he's got, DID,
Mhm.
and that Roy comes out and he blacks out, as he says,
Right.
and perpetrates these crimes. But in truth, he's just putting everybody
Mhm.
on, and it's a rope-a-dope.
Yeah, the character of Aaron is completely manufactured for his alibi.
Yeah.
All right, so the roles that we're going to recast, we've got Martin Vale, played by Richard Gere, who is 47. We've got Aaron Stampler, aka Roy, played by Edward Norton, who is 27. We've got Dr. Molly Arrington, played by Frances McDormand, who is 39. And then we've got Janet Venable, played by Laura Linney, who was 32. And Mark, who was your pick for the role of Martin Vale?
Well, let me be frank. I think we can all agree the best part of Primal Fear is Ed Norton's southern accent.
Mhm.
Right? Okay, so keeping that going, I'm going with someone that does another famous southern accent. For the Richard Gere role, I'm picking Kevin Spacey, in character as Frank Underwood.
Oh, wow.
Sure, there have been allegations of abuse directed at Spacey, but all those people have mysteriously died. So, by process of elimination, he's been exonerated. I think he has the gravitas to pull it off as long as he's in character.
Bravo, sir.
Nicely done.
Over to you, Chelsea.
So Richard Gere is friggin' adorable. I love him.
Mm-hmm.
Love him. So my actor was in a movie called The Losers, Star Trek, been in a bunch of things that are not loading. Sorry. But I went with Idris Alba.
Ooh, yes. He's
There
in
is
the
something-
upcoming Suicide Squad movie.
There's something about him where he has that same sort of like my shit don't stink grin that
Okay.
Richard Gere has.
And so he walks into the courtroom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna be adorable.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be the next James Bond, I think.
Ooh.
That's what I've been hoping
for. Our lead.
That's what I've been hoping for.
Over to you,
Or a
Sean.
female. So yeah, I think I can put a point on what you're saying with Idris Elba being the recast. Richard Gere is a panty dropper.
Oh, 100%.
Pure and simple, that's what it is.
100%.
And Idris Elba, yes, and this actor here I think qualifies as well. He too was in Star Trek. He was in the Lord of the Rings series. He was in Doom. He was in the Judge Dredd movie as well. Thor Ragnarok, and with Carl Urban.
Oh yeah. All right, right on. I went with something a little bit different. My actor has kind of aged into the role. He's 51 now. He was in Leaves of Grass, Fight Club, and Primal Fear. His name
No.
is Edward Norton.
100% no, rejected.
Next up, we've got the role of Aaron Stampler, aka Roy, played by Edward Norton, who was 27. And Mark, who did you go with for this?
I chose someone that has a larger-than-life character, personality type. Interesting to see him play a reserved, meek type that Ed Norton played in the beginning, up until the end, of course. Then he gets to cut loose. He hasn't acted in a major hit in a while, and I'm thinking it's time for a comeback. Corey Feldman, baby.
Wow.
Wow.
Ooh.
Yes.
We just
Okay.
recently did the Tale of Two Corys on this show.
Oh, nice.
So it's just striking me right now that the character that Edward Norton is playing in this film is kind of similar to the role that Kevin Spacey played in The Usual Suspects, meaning he's presenting a meeker, milder version of what he's actually capable of. And that goes back to your first recast. And Chelsea, who's your pick?
So my actor is gonna need some makeup for this role. But I think he can do it because he really impressed me when he was on SNL. He's been in a movie called Nerve and The Dirt. I went with Machine Gun Kelly.
Ah, okay, all right. He was my Sid Vicious.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Next, Sean, who is your pick?
Alright, so I'm with another 27-year-old actor. Keeping in mind the Aaron role, the very innocent and vulnerable character that he's presenting, I think this actor kind of personifies it. And I'd be curious to see him play the Roy side. He can be seen in the TV series The Politician, and he will be in the title role of Dear Evan Hansen, the adaptation of the Broadway musical.
Right.
But he was also in all the Pitch Perfect movies. I went with Ben Platt.
Yeah.
Ben
All right. Son of Oliver Platt. My pick for the role of Aaron Stampler / Roy is 28 now. He was in Dunkirk, American Animals, and The Killing of a Sacred Deer. His name is Barry Cogan. Barry Cogan. Do you remember that guy?
Oh, I remember him.
Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Such an awkward-looking fellow.
Yeah, he's disturbing. He has a little bit of a childlike innocence,
Yeah.
but also that malice.
He reminds me of Stewart from Mad TV.
Let me do it. Next, we've got the role of Dr. Molly Arrington, played by Francesca Mcdormand, who was 39 at the time. And Mark, who did you pick for this doctor?
Well, my pick screams mental health, okay? She would have to tone down her overall energy level for the more resorbed performance from Mcdormand here. Everyone loves a redemption arc. Roseanne Barr.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I like your pick for the photo as well.
There was a movie that was on my list of movies to watch that never came out called Roseanne Barr for President. And I'm still wondering why that movie didn't come out.
I have some bad news for you, Travis.
Chelsea.
So my actress is in the right age range, however, she looks a little younger, but there's something about her that reminds me of Frances McDormand. Like, she's a little bit mousy, but still kind of pretty. I don't know how to quite explain it. But I went with Carrie Russell.
Ah, okay. Felicity.
Yeah.
I like it. She's an American.
This is The Americans.
Sean, your pick?
That's what you did there. I went with an actress who is 39 years old. She can be seen in She's Out of My League, Star Trek Into Darkness, Men in Black 3, and Before We Go. Her name is Alice Eve.
Alice Eve. Okay. Was she in that band Eve 6?
I don't think so.
Alright, well, my actress is also 39 now. She was in My Blind Brother, Hotel Artemis, and On the Rocks. Her name is Jenny Slate.
I like Jenny Slate.
Me too.
My Blind Brother was pretty good too.
I mean, I have never seen her in something that I didn't love.
Same.
Was she in Shiva Baby, or was that a different actress?
I haven't seen that film,
Either.
but it keeps popping up on my letterbox.
Alright, we got one more for this one. We've got the role of Janet Venable, played by Laura Linney, who was 32 at the time, and she is the former pupil / former lover of Richard Gere's character / his opposing counsel.
Now, you
correct?
don't like Laura Linney.
Yeah, I just feel like Hollywood in the 1990s tried to make Laura Linney sexy.
Okay, and she's just not.
I just don't find her sexy. I'm
That's
sorry.
She doesn't
To each
turn.
their own.
She doesn't turn your crank. I get it.
Yeah. You know what really grinds my gears?
Laura
This
Linney.
conversation about Laura Linney. Mark, who was your pick for Janet Venable?
I chose an actress that should not be trifled with. She might be a little busy shooting the next Aquaman. I chose Amber Heard.
Oh,
She's
wow.
not busy shooting
Oh,
that.
okay.
She's kicked off.
She got kicked.
I don't think.
Fired.
Oh, no.
Did she?
Yeah, fired.
Okay.
Wow, okay.
I know that Johnny Depp's appeal in the defamation case in Europe got rejected. Chelsea.
So, I think you'll enjoy my pick, Travis.
Mm-hmm.
I like Laura Linney, but I agree, I don't think she's quote unquote sexy.
Mm-hmm.
My actress is smart, she's sharp, she's witty, she's also sexy. I went with Elizabeth Olsen.
Oh, she's one of my faves.
I know.
So, this is not a brown-nosing podcast. Over to you, Sean. Who's your pick?
My actress is 32 years old. She was in Danny Collins' Patriots Day, Whiplash, and can currently be seen in the TV series Supergirl. I went with Melissa Benoist.
Oh, I like her a lot.
Me too.
Yeah,
She
I've
was
never
on
seen
Glee.
that show, but I like her. My pick is 32 now as well. She was in True Blood, Westworld, and Kajillionaire. Her name's Evan Rachel Wood.
Oh, I like
Evan
that one
Rachel
too.
Wood is my Laura Linney.
That's a good pick. I like it.
Mhm.
Who was she in True Blood?
She was the vampire queen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she didn't stick around too long.
I
She
wonder
was
how
in,
that
like,
show holds up.
2 or 3 episodes of season 4 or
Oh.
something like that. All right, so we've gone through the roles. Final thoughts on Primal Fear.
Watch it, I love it.
I don't know how I went this long without seeing it.
Same.
It's a recommend. It's a good movie.
To me, it was one of those movies that stands out in my memory of, hey, this is an amazing thing. Maybe you should watch more amazing things. You know? All right, so we're going to wrap things up. I want to thank our guest today, Marco. Anything you
Pleasure
want
as
to
always.
plug, sir?
No, I've been playing Yakuza Like a Dragon recently. That's been fun.
Is that the Japanese mafia?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's about a guy that goes to jail for 20 years for a murder he did not commit. And when he gets out, he's all forgotten about.
And Bed and Bone, right? Bed and
always.
Bone.
Yes. Every day.
And Chelsea, anything you'd like to plug this week?
Trivia.
Trivia every day.
All the
I'm X. I live in here.
You did good at trivia last week, by the way.
I thought so.
You were really good.
And also, I want to thank my co-host, the brew boss, the engineer. Anything you want to plug this week, sir?
No, just my my Twitter handle, a windowless van.
A windowless van.
You're getting Twitter cocky now that Morgan Creek follows you.
Right? The film distribution company, Morgan Creek, has started following my account.
I don't understand why.
Morgan Creek is the illegitimate child of Morgan Freeman and Tracy Morgan.
Morgan Creek sounds like one of those McMansion neighborhoods near the golf course. first.
Do you know what next week's episode is?
I do.
Basketball movies.
There we go.
Basketball movies. So here is your question. This is a sneak preview question and answer for trivia this upcoming Wednesday. In 1996's Space Jam, who voices the role of Swackhammer, an evil alien theme park owner who needs a new attraction at Moron Mountain?
I think, is it Danny DeVito?
Danny
I
DeVito
was
is
going to say
correct!
Danny DeVito too.
Let me be frank. Okay.
I've never seen Space Jam.
That
Well, you better
sucks
watch it
to be
before the new
you.
one
and
comes out.
I was
No.
going to say Danny DeVito.
It may
Nice
wait something
job.
with Sean. You better watch out.
We want to plug the podcast itself. Please rate, review, and subscribe to us on all of your podcatcher apps. We are hosted online on Podbean. We're Cinema Chop Shop on there. We are also Cinema Chop Shop on Twitter, Facebook, and Gmail, and Untapped, where I sometimes remember to check in the beers that we drank on the show, and also the YouTube channel. It's going to blow up this week.
Totally.
Thanks to my
And
outfit.
it is Cinema Chop Shop Podcast on YouTube. And finally, thank you to you, the listeners, the chop shoppers out there. Wear a mask, social distance, and get that vax. And please remember to watch, shop, retrofit.
Our time is up.